before I went deep into really wanting it, I was already doing the math on why I couldn't. And then I had to really stop and ask, when did wanting become a project management problem? Welcome to the After Chapter podcast. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Cecilia. We explore who you are when the roles fall away.
And pour into what's next, one conversation at a time.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Cecilia. Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you all are enjoying your summer, enjoying the longer days,
Yep.
longer
days.
daylight,
Yeah.
right? This just feels good. This feels good. And so here we are. But before we go to where we are, let's talk about what we're pouring.
So, as a reminder, these summer pours are usually going to be a little lighter, more seasonal pours with intention. And today we have a Lambrusco, which is an Italian sparkling red. And Lambrusco means wild grape. So it's a little bit unexpected, a little playful, and it does not apologize. It doesn't apologize for being fun. It doesn't apologize for being serious at the same time. Desire without urgency. That's today's episode. So, happy summer. Enjoy the Lambrusco. Hopefully you in our audience have found some and poured some as well or something else. So cheers.
Cheers. And so remind me again, it means what?
Wild grape.
Wild grape.
Yes.
I learn something every time. Thank you. Well, that's good.
So, desire without urgency. So I caught myself wanting something recently. I always want this, but more so now than in the past. It's been around travel. Mm-hmm. Thinking about Europe, Sonoma, and these are, for me, annual travel for me in the past. But given that I have not been working, it has not been as I usually have lived. Mm-hmm. So before I went deep into really wanting it, I was already doing the math on why I couldn't. And then I had to really stop and ask, when did wanting become a project management problem?
Wow. When did wanting become a project management problem?
Yeah. Yeah, anything that you really wanted.
You know, it's funny because, hearing you say that in that way, it does remind me of the moments when I've wanted something, right? When I've identified a want, not a need.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Virgo in me, the planner in me, automatically moves to, how do I get that? Like, how do I make that happen? Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, it's, we need to do something in the house. We need to, redo something or a trip or something. And it becomes how do I move into action to make it happen? And what's interesting is, for as analytical as I can be in the process, there is a switch that once I've identified it, it becomes an urgency. Mm-hmm. It becomes all things need to be moved. Like suddenly, if I'm redoing the living room, or if we look and we need a new, I look and we need a new dining room set, suddenly the one that's there must be gone immediately.
Right. Yeah.
It was fine on Friday, but today on Sunday, it's an eyesore. It's an
eyesore.
Get it out of my sight now.
Yeah.
And there's that, what is it? Instant gratification?
Yes.
Right? So there's that, but there is this urgency. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Named.
Yes. So how does this desire get conditioned in out of how does it get conditioned out of us? So one of the things I looked at and really was trying to think about is a desire versus a goal, kind of like what you said, a
need
desire versus a need. So a desire is something that it's recurring, meaning you keep it alive, the desire. Versus a goal, there's an endpoint, there's a deliverable that needs to be checked off,
That makes
gotten to. And so what it feels like to want something, what does it feel like to want something without immediately needing those action steps? So immediately needing to get to the deliverable, immediately needing to create that thing, that want or need into this is now my goal. So in terms, I know we each said something, well, in terms of what we might desire. I mean, for me, it's been travel. I can name it.
Yeah, no. So for me, we moved. We're in a different home right now, and so, with the expense of moving, moving is very expensive, and then suddenly everything needs to be replaced, right? And that's not true, right? So there were things that we knew we needed to replace before we moved, and so we held off on replacing it because we're moving. We don't know the new size of the new space. But then now we're in the new home, and there's this list of things that need to be replaced and fixed, and so that our home feels like our new home. And I can't do it all. I shouldn't do it all at one time. Right. And so it's action planning. It's looking at the eyesore of the dining room table, like, oh, there's a chip. Ugh, it's big. It's glaring. But there's nothing wrong with the way we live. We're comfortable. Our house is a home.
Yeah.
Right. And so there isn't an urgency, but there's a switch that flips and it suddenly becomes an urgency.
So how do we control that switch better? Where it's not an urgency and we can compartmentalize it or name it and know this is a desire. That doesn't mean every desire must be fulfilled.
One, I think just naming it, right? I think that's something that this entire season, there's been a lot of feeling the feeling, and your feelings are valid, but attaching a name to it. And I think once you attach a name to it, there becomes some reasoning. There's an exercise of, I use the term need versus a want, right? Because there are definitely things that we need, and there are things that I want. And I might convince myself that thing that I want, I must have it. Right. And so it's naming it. And so and this is an exercise that I've been doing is, once I've identified the thing that I want, right?
And they're not interchangeable.
It's right. So be clear, right?
They're not interchangeable.
Needs and wants are different, right?
Yeah.
But the thing so if we're thinking about the thing that I desire, right? Because the need is sometimes attached to a goal, right? But the thing that I desire, the thing that I just must have, realizing that there isn't a sense of urgency. Moving, yes, I'll use the dining room table as a perfect example. I rather take the time to find one that's going to last us for, a decade, if not more. Really spend some time enjoying the process. And so a lot of times there are processes that we must go through that if we don't look at it as a chore, there's a way to go through it in an enjoyable way. Like my husband doesn't want to be dragged to 15 different furniture stores. No. I don't mind, right? But let's make so the sense of urgency, the sense of needing it immediately, it's talking yourself off that ledge. And if it doesn't happen on Monday, what's the worst thing that will happen?
Right. And as you were talking, I was trying to think about specifically the through line, the tie of transition, the tie of identity around these desires without urgency, and what does that mean in terms of this in between of the season one of unraveling, and then going to let's begin to put one block that's this reconstruction. And so some of my thoughts around that, and one is, as part of unraveling, it is that quiet and getting all the signals, understanding your own values, understanding why you do this or that, and also understanding why sometimes you may feel something that's perhaps a little bit foreign to you. It wasn't how you used to be. And so I'm thinking about this desire without urgency as taking all that information that we're still continuing to gather and know about ourselves, and then using that to have a better understanding, number one, of the difference between this is a desire versus this is my need or goal, and having a better framework to make that differentiation, number one. And then how does that process lead me to building myself into a better version? And it doesn't need to be some huge
grand
and grand knockdown. Like I've changed. Now I'm a new person. I've changed. I mean, these things that we've mentioned for ourselves, of whether that's travel or even a piece of furniture, they are, for the most part, simple things. But I think of it in the sense of, now for myself, I'll use, so for the travel aspect of things, I equate travel, as I've mentioned in when we talked about our own 3 words. That's part of my teaching aspect of how I identify myself in this season. And so, maybe I'm convincing myself.
You're talking yourself into it.
Exactly. So because it's part of my identity, I have always thought about it as more of it's not a need, like I'm not going to wither away, but it does bring me this spark. It does bring me this joy that I feel more in my true self when those things are happening. And so I'm just trying to bring in that connection of the things I've learned these past few episodes,
identifying
to where we are now with this episode of Desire Without Urgency, and how do I answer that question about what it feels like when something immediately needs an action plan.
Yeah, and so, one, I'm going to go back to your feelings are valid 100%. And knowing you, I would understand why that aspect of your life, not having it at this moment, does feel like a loss, right? Because, and if we'll stick with travel, and my experience of you through travel it's not just the trip,
right?
It's the building up to the trip. It's the researching. It's the if it's a place that has wine, what wine am I going to explore? Where should we eat? So it's not just one thing. It's a whole lifestyle.
Yes.
And that falls into the learning, and then it's the experience.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the 3 phases. It's the build up, the actual thing, and then afterward, like, that was really good.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And so if that thing that you desire is closely rooted in your identity, it makes sense that you would have some sense of urgency.
Right.
Right. And so even my simple table, right? Like, my table is my gathering spot.
Right.
I love to host. And so the last few times I've hosted, I've had a tablecloth over the table. And not that anybody would say, oh, that chip, it's, it's worn, it's loved, it's been appreciated. There's a story in each ding, each watermark, because my husband refuses to use a coaster all the time. But it's how you see yourself and how you express yourself. And so for me, that table, as I said, it's a gathering spot. It's a hosting space. And so because I love to gather and bring people together, I want a certain aesthetic, a certain feeling.
Yeah.
And so
maybe that first step of understanding before we go into as mentioned, the desire versus the goal.
Before moving into acquisition.
Yes. Maybe it is a reflection point. I think everything deserves a reflection point, even if it's something that's $1. Do you really? What is the value of this? Of spending that $1 on this thing? Or even joy? Yes, exactly. Does it spark joy, or even joy? Exerting the time or the energy for this thing? How does that equate to who I am? How does that equate to my values? Because I think that's the through line, that if everything you do is part of your value system, I think that's where people who think like that and live their lives like that, at least for me, I do believe that they have such a knowing about themselves, their place in this space. And I think that's what helps them to truly bring that joy in every little thing that they do.
Find the joy. Yeah. No, this is really good. And I think, this is a good place to leave our listeners with some work, right? Like thinking back to the last things, experiences, whatever. Was it a desire? Was it a need? Right? Like identifying it. Was there a sense of urgency? And what does that say about you, or what have you attached to that? Yeah. Right. And so wanting something, well, first of all, wanting something is not bad.
No.
Right. But it's also not a deadline. It's a direction. And so I want to achieve this thing. I want to have this experience. I want to create a home. I want to fill in the blank for whatever your want is. It's a direction.
Yeah.
And so there doesn't need to be a sense of urgency. There needs to be, I'm present in the moment. And I understand what's driving me.
Yes.
Would you
agree?
Would you agree?
I would agree. Yes, okay. For sure.
Well, thank you. Well, before we go, I want to leave you with, as you do the work of your own self-reflection, what is something that you want right now that you have not let yourself say out loud? So what's something that you want that you've not let yourself say out loud? Not just a plan. Right? It's just the wanting. So what I encourage you to do is say it to yourself on the way to wherever you're going next. Like identify that thing and say it, right? And then think about everything that we've talked about as you analyze and process the desire, the need, the urgency, and what does it say about you, or what do you think it says about you?
Yeah. And the more we know, I think the quicker the questioning decision making is. I think it will be at the snap of a finger. You'll just know right away because you've known yourself.
Building
so
a
long.
muscle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So next week you will be here by yourself, listening for the quiet signal. So try not to have too much fun without me, and drink water. Do not have a good wine or cocktail, because I'll be very, very jealous.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. Just the two of. Well, I'll see you next week, but we will see you in a couple of weeks. Just the two of us. Thanks for joining.
Cheers.
Thanks for spending time with us on the After Chapter podcast.
Like, follow, subscribe, and share. Until next time, pause, take a sip, and stay with what's unfolding.
Oh, one more thing. Here comes the legal part. Our lawyers will be really happy we said this. The After Chapter podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We are two women pouring into this conversation with you. We are not licensed therapists, and nothing you hear on this show is intended to replace the advice of a physician, therapist, professional coach, or any other qualified professional. If you're in a season that calls for deeper support, please reach out to a professional and know that reaching out is one of the bravest things you can do.